Here we go.
I wasn't ready.
3-man roster has been released, and we're going to break this whole thing down. Tony, I'm kind of nervous, honestly.
For what?
Nervous. The season is coming.
Are you afraid you're not going to be able to get an Airbnb in Arizona in February? That's what I'm nervous about.
Hit that music.
What's going on?
I'm not sure how that intro ended because the stream started playing in the background of my computer, but you are tuned in to Nuts and Bolts, the newest episode. I know it's Tuesday night. Me and Tony Tucker are extremely busy with fantasy football this weekend. So as soon as this 53-man roster dropped, we started working on our notes, we started working on graphics, so that way we can get this show turned around tonight. I'm pumped up for this. Tony, you've probably already taken your glances at the 53-man roster. We got some opinions, but overall, it's looking pretty good. How you feeling tonight, Tony?
I feel great. And what's funny is when I go online, I say we as in the fan base, we bicker a lot about 48 through 53, right? And we're going to do that in the show. We're going to talk about it or whatever. But really, the focus should be on how great it is from 1 to 40. Right, like the amount of talent that's in that group. And yes, there are some players that are gone that we would like to be on the roster. Hopefully they can end up in the practice squad somehow and still contribute on this team in some way. But just the amount of vitriol for players that are getting cut, it's intense. I like it. Cheers, everybody.
Everyone can relax a little bit. We're pretty spoiled that we only got to worry about the last 10 spots of our roster. Imagine being a Bears fan or a Seahawks fan or one of those teams that, there's 25 roster spots up for grab in camp. Let's take a look at the chat here. Everyone that is tuned into this, do us a favor, help us out with this channel, which we had just started individually. We did all of season 1 on a joint network channel, and now we're on our own channel. So please show some love. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so that way you can be here every time we go live randomly on a Tuesday night like this and see every video that we upload. We upload reels, all kinds of stuff. And also like the stream. If you're already subscribed to the channel, liking the stream helps us out a ton in this algorithm and gets it out to more Chargers fans. All right, chat here. Athir is here. What's up, Athir? How's it going? Joker is here. Shout out to Joker. Got the Jeopardy theme playing. We got a graphic with all the players. If you guys haven't seen the rosters yet, and we're going to get into it right now. Exercise these demons. Now a weekly staple in the chat. What's up? What's up? Oh, yeah, they want it.
That's the demon.
If Joe Morley and the Silver and Black Allegiance show up, exercise these demons, I promise you I will kick them out immediately. Right. This is something else.
Yes, they ridiculed us for being late. Which
there we go.
Well-deserved. We're always late. Joker, before I forget, if you have Instagram, follow me on Instagram, TT Sports Ramble. I think that's my name. I'm bad at social media, but I think that's my name, TT Sports Ramble. I want to send you one of these posters, the JC Jackson one. It's right here. It's on my pool table, and I just need an address. So follow me so you can send me your address. There we go. Sorry.
Yeah, shipping address. There you go. Yeah, and share the video. Sharing the video helps us with the channel as well a ton. Roster is set. Carlos is excited. We got everyone in here. Fox,
DZ, this is something I want to talk about for sure.
Exactly. Me too, actually, because I don't know. You tuned into the Staley press conference today?
I did.
Okay, cool. We both saw it then. Offense first or defense first, Tony?
Your choice.
Let's go to the chat. Offense first or defense first, guys? Go ahead. Hurry up, by the way. We don't got all day.
DZ did lead off with the defensive thoughts right there of the.
But now I'm worried that the first comment's going to say offense, and I'm going to show defense, and then I completely ruin the whole thing. All right, we're going to go defense then. I think there's a lot to talk about.
They put 3 offenses as soon as he said that.
No way! Oh my gosh, you guys almost got my ass. We'll go offense first. Good improvising. Here's the big reveal. Let me take off this banner so we can see the whole thing. Oh, there's nothing down there. But here's the big reveal. Everyone check it out. Let us know your thoughts on some of these positions. I can briefly go over at the wide receiver position. Obviously, we don't keep Michael Bandy, so we don't get a sixth receiver there. Looking at the O-line, Trey Pipkins listed as the starter right now. By the way, this depth chart is super makeshift right now. This is not the official depth chart. I think the offense is going to look something like this. It should look something close to this. This is not the official depth chart. Just keep that in mind. This is just the players that made the roster at these set positions. 3 quarterbacks, obviously a highlight. 4 running backs. Roundtree makes the edge of the roster there. I'm going to take this off the screen, Tony. You ready for me to take it off the screen?
Yeah, I think so.
Any opening thoughts here? Should we start off somewhere talking about something?
I think on the offense, let's go to Joker's thoughts. He's a little torn about Gabe Neighbors, right? Not returning as the fullback, but I just think the versatility in what we saw in Xander's college game is what makes him more appealing to this team and this coaching staff and this roster. His ability to, work down the field and almost play as like a tight end and a fullback and carry the football. Just the versatility makes the football team better. Now, is Herbert going to be missing a brisket, buddy? Like a little victory brisket? Possibly, but I mean, he could still end up on the practice squad. Fullback isn't like a sought after position. I don't necessarily know that a bunch of other teams are going to want him. So
yeah,
I'm trying to ease the pain that Gabe Neighbors is gone.
I hope that Gabe Neighbors can stick around, stay in LA, be on the practice squad. God forbid anything happens to Horvath and we need a fullback in the middle of the season. Gabe Neighbors already knows the offense, pretty familiar with the offense, has chemistry with the offense, has been working with us for a couple seasons now. But yeah, for sure. Xander Horvath seems like he's just more versatile than Gabe Neighbors. And that's what Brandon Staley and Tom Telesco have been preaching all offseason. They want players that they feel they can use in multiple facets of the game. You can use Horvath in the running game as a blocker and as a runner. You can use Horvath in the passing game, however you want to use him, whether they put him out at tight end, in the slot, or coming out the backfield. Any of those 3 things. He just seems like a more athletic dude than Gabe Neighbors. Gabe Neighbors is your more prototypical fullback, and Horvath is a lot closer to like a hybrid running back / tight end that plays fullback. That's super strong.
Yeah, he really does give a Mike Allstott vibe.
It's weird, huh? It's like he does a lot. He does a lot of things. And like you said, Tony, when we were off the air talking earlier today, you think that he might be a little bit of a secret weapon too, that they're hiding some stuff that they're going to use him with. Because we noticed that in the preseason game, the Chargers haven't been using the fullbacks at all. But in the regular season last year and in training camp, they use the fullbacks a lot when it comes to getting creative.
Yeah, well, I think if there's any sort of hindrance to Spiller's ankle and we got Josh Kelly, who's going to run the ball a few times? So they didn't really run the ball with him at all, but yet Lombardi said in a press conference the plan was to get him some actual carries. I know he said throughout the season, but maybe if they didn't show it, maybe that's something that they could just surprise with, like some sort of package or plays or whatever that are set up for Horvath in a surprise week 1 4 or 5 carry game for him.
Yeah, and he already was laying the boom in practice when he first got on the team. We saw some clips coming out, so hopefully he runs some people over too. That'd be a lot of fun to see in the season. What else we got here? Oh, we could talk about this Michael Bandy business. And here's the offense once again, if you guys are just tuning in. The official list of offensive players that are on the Chargers opening 53-man roster. Again, depth charts not set in stone. Just keep that in mind. But this is our guys. What are your thoughts on this Michael Bandy situation? Chargers fans really wanted Michael Bandy to make the team.
I did too, and I think my biggest complaint is, we've talked about this privately. When you have a top 5, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, why are you rostering 3 quarterbacks? Now, Staley gave a really well thought out, great answer about how he feels like they all contribute and they all bring something. But honestly, do we really think that Chase Daniels was going to not clear waivers in some way, or Easton Stick was not going to clear waivers? I'm really hoping that Michael Bandy doesn't end up on a roster, but I just think to have what he can bring to a team out of the slot, I think there's a much better chance that somebody puts in a waiver claim for him and says, we'll bring him onto our team. We'll see what we can get out of this. We've seen this happen with a lot of other slot receivers in the past where they don't stick on their original team and they find the right place, end up on a practice squad, and then carve out a nice 7-8 year career.
Athir's upset about something we said last week.
Yeah,
Chargers wild card
definitely has beef with you right now.
Like, I didn't do anything. I think the Chargers are winning the division and the Super Bowl.
It's been personal for about 7-8 comments now.
Is it because I had the Raiders in second place? Is that what it is? And Joker, you're of course welcome, man. You just got to hit one of us up and let us know ahead of time. Did Bandy beg for special teams reps? I don't know about begging for special teams reps. I do think that Michael Bandy is a guy that might get picked up off of waivers. If not, glad to have him on the practice squad. Glad to have him as wide receiver depth, first man up if we need a wide receiver on this roster, because we know that he can contribute in the return game. We've seen it before, and we know that he's a really good slot receiver now after this last preseason. But, yeah, he could get scooped up. Like, Bill Belichick is screaming, give me Michael Bandy right now. I want Bandy. He just cut Trey Nixon, the guy that a lot of Patriots fans had hope in, and I'm thinking maybe he's going to grab up Michael Bandy. I was making a post about previous players who got cut and then became star players still. When I was on the part where I was writing about Wes Welker, when the Michael Bandy news came across my screen. Is that something, Tony, or is that just a coincidence?
I think that there's been enough of these guys where we kind of learned from the past, right? They're guys that are just football players that don't fit the build. Because the Patriots right now have Devonte Parker, who's a first-round pick, and by all metrics is exactly what you want from a wide receiver. Like 6'3", 215 pounds, fast, can go up and get it vertically, can run all different parts of the route tree. But he hasn't been able to stay healthy, and he hasn't done it. Like, you just want somebody like that, like the Amendolas, the Wayne Grebett's, the Wes Welkers, the Julian Edelmans. The list just goes on and on with these guys. And I think we're going to see one similar for the Titans. Kyle Phillips, the guy they drafted from UCLA, who just looks like, hey, I'll just catch balls out of the slot and do work. Hunter Renfrow. I'm sorry. I left out the slot. The hair club for men poster child, Hunter Renfrow.
The slot guy that doesn't get counted as a weapon in a passing game last year. Joker saying you hope he doesn't turn out like Wes Welker. I hope he does, and he's on the Chargers roster. Tony, you probably know this slight trivia, but what team cut Wes Welker before he went to the Patriots?
I believe it was the Miami Dolphins and the Chargers both cut him. Yeah, he was with the Dolphins in that camp right before the Patriots, I think, right? Or was it the Patriots?
So I'm not sure the exact order, but he was with the Chargers and then went to the Patriots. And Marty Schottenheimer was famous for saying that that's the biggest mistake in his coaching career was cutting Wes Welker.
Yeah, I don't know the order either, but I know that he was in a few different camps. I mean, the same thing happened. Kurt Warner, nobody knew that either. He was with the Packers at one point.
Yeah, like 4 years before his career started. James Harrison also got cut by the Baltimore Ravens, went to his cross-division rivals and went crazy for an entire career. But what was I going to say? We had Phillip Rivers also. We had the perfect quarterback for freaking Wes Welker.
Yeah.
I love you too, Athir. It's all love. It's all love. I'm rooting for the Chargers winning the division. I think the Chargers win the division. I know the Chargers win the division. All right? Don't get it twisted because of what we were talking about last time. We were just saying teams that could compete. If we don't pick up Bandy, please, for the love of God, stay away from the AFC West. Oh, I don't think they need him in Vegas because they got Hunter Renfrow. They got Sky Moore and these little gadget guys in KC. And Denver has KJ Hamler. So I don't think they're going to be going after Bandy. I think your threats are teams that are thin at receiver and thin at slot receiver specifically.
I think
Athir. Ethan is a friend of ours, okay? He hasn't won in the Super Bowl still. Even though he has him in the wild card, he hasn't won in the Super Bowl. Relax, Athir. Relax. Friend of the show. Subscribe to the Backseat Podcast. Okay.
Yeah. Just attacking our guests. I think of teams like the Seahawks for Bandy, where it's like I'm not really sure who their number 3 wide receiver is, and he could be a nice upgrade there. So there's more teams out there that are like that. I wonder maybe a little bit about like the Vikings taking a shot at a guy like that. Where they could use a little more depth, you know. They have Thielen, they have KJ Osborne, but Bandy could be a nice player with Kirk Cousins out of the slot.
I want to say Osborne's banged up. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Well, I hope not, because I'm drafting him in a couple leagues this weekend.
You want to talk about this running back situation at all, Tony, first, before we move on to the defense? I feel like everything else is pretty self-explanatory. I love the confidence that we had in Trey McKitty. There's no worries about Trey McKitty. He's a staple on this team and a staple in the tight end room. The O-line was kind of assumed that this was the guys that were going to be kept anyways. We need our backup center. We got 2 solid backup guards that we kind of believe in. If they have to play time, hopefully they don't. And then the tackle situation is the same as it was before. But the running backs. What's your opinion on the end of this running back list? Because a lot of guys have been getting cut on other teams, and I think that we could definitely upgrade at our 4th running back position. I'm kind of like, I'm trying not to be my old self where when a player burns me and I get a negative opinion, that my opinion isn't going to be changed with Josh Kelly. And seeing what he's done this offseason, I watched his presser today, and as the first time I watched a presser with Josh Kelly, he looks like he's way bigger than he was before. So I'm trying to be like, maybe this kid put in the hard work during the offseason. I can believe in him if he has to take carries. If anything happens to Spiller, anything happens to Eckler. But seeing Sony Michel and Marlon Mack is tempting. What's your thoughts?
Oh, no doubt. When they were like, oh, the Vikings are willing to shop Alexander Madison, I was like, yes, please, I will drive him. I got the weekend off. I'll drive to Minnesota and pack his stuff while he flies out to Los Angeles. This is the thing I think that's happened. And as a fan of any team, this is kind of the part that bums you out, is that they've set the bar of expectations so low that even if they come out and they're average, we get excited about it because there's nobody there. And we listen to Eckler saying, I want somebody to come and like take reps away from me. I want you to be so good, because I don't think Eckler ever wants to check himself out of the game, right? But they need to start making that more of a regular thing, especially in those high impact contact areas around the goal line. We need somebody down there that we know is going to hang on to the football, make smart decisions and finish. This is the last thing I'll say about the running back room. It really could be filled with 4 of the nicest, most genuine human beings. If you listen to any of these guys, like Larry Roundtree is hilarious on the mic whenever they interview him for stuff. Joshua Kelly is the nicest person I think I've ever seen interviewed. He's just like, yeah, okay, yeah. He's so positive. Isaiah Spiller, quiet, humble, and Austin Eckler, the most positive, like, just motivating individual, just out there all the time. Like, what are you doing to level yourself up this weekend, brother? I don't know why I didn't Hulk Hogan voice, but that's just what Eckler does. So I want to see them all succeed, but part of me wants to go, oh, hey, Marlon Mack, he's still got a little bit left, or wouldn't mind having him come in there if he's available. And the other player you mentioned, Mac and
Sony Michel would probably be the best option.
There we go.
Sony Michel just feels like a guy that does everything. He can be used not as a power back, but he has some power. But he also can be used as a scat back, and he's also a pretty solid pass protector. So that's the guy I would, if I could pick anyone available right now, it'd be him or Alexander Madison. Madison's looking for a 1 job probably. Like, Madison's a beast.
Yes, he's contributing on Super Bowl teams too. Sony Michel,
like
the Patriots and the Rams, he's contributing on both of those teams. So he has everything that you want, and he performs. Like, I'm a big fan of Sony Michel, not as your 1, but man, would it be nice to add a player like that.
And this is why I'm trying to change my thought process, Joker, to the way you're thinking. I'm trying to be more of an optimist. I've always been a pessimistic Chargers fan because I grew up as a Chargers fan. But when I saw Kelly hurdle that guy in the preseason game, I'm not sure if it was like week 1 or if it was the preseason of his rookie year, I like clicked back. And I was like, I remember him hurdling someone on the sideline early in his career, and me going, Josh Kelly is the guy. He is the next freaking RB2 in this league. He's going to go nuts when he hits that field. And then just fumbles, missed pass block assignments. The big one is the fumble to lose against the Chiefs, because that touchdown right there, can't blame Parham for the injury, but that touchdown also, you put those 2 on the board on the 1-yard line both times, we win by 2 touchdowns. So yeah, it's tough for me. Athir, I'm giving you this for the rest of Nuts and Bolts history. All right, Athir, just you, only you, Athir. You have a pass. You can ask any question that you want, anytime that you want. You do not have to ask us. You can ask any question.
I kind of like that he does ask every time. It makes me laugh.
A free pass. Opinion on Storm real quick before we move on to defense. Joker, we have to keep him. We need a backup. We have to keep him.
Yeah, and I think so too. I think that they've worked with him long enough. He's not expensive. You keep him there, and you hope for the best with him. I was very happy when he finally announced that Trey Pipkins was going to be the starter. We all felt that, but in the press conference when he said it, I was like, okay, give him that last final step of confidence. He's going to get out there, and I think he's going to be good. That's all I'm hoping for. Good. Like, if you're good, I'll be happy.
We got DZ drooling down here talking about Madison and Eckler. Yeah. Madison would probably cost like a 4th or 5th round pick, maybe even less than that.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting.
We'll get into the defense right now, DZ, and we'll talk about this. Sony will be solid. Yeah, I think we're good here. We caught up on comments. Let's go on to defense here. Got about 10 minutes left in the show, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Here's the defense. Big reveal. Obviously, the storyline with the cornerbacks, both Jasir Taylor and Dean Leonard make the team, expecting them to play a lot of special teams, expecting them hopefully to impact on special teams as well. We've seen Dean Leonard like in position to make plays and just barely miss it or get a flag. We've obviously seen the athleticism of Jasir Taylor in the preseason as well. Look at the safety position. Obviously, Alohi Gilman is kind of our Derwin James backup if we need someone to fill that role at any point in the season. So he makes the team. JT Woods is the young and up-and-coming safety on the roster. A big thing to keep in mind, guys, Kyle Van Noy, I have him listed as edge rusher here. It's been stated that he's going to be playing a lot of linebacker as well, so you can put him over there. Kenneth Murray might be playing some pass rusher, so he could also be an edge rusher. And they've talked about Morgan Fox being an all-4 frontline down player. So he can play the interior defensive line and he can play both edge positions if they need him to. But we don't need him to because the emergence of Chris Rumpf and what he's done this offseason, it's like adding another player to this roster that we didn't have before. That's how much he's improved. But Tony, anything that's standing out to you out the gate here? Not too many surprises on the defensive side of the ball. I feel like we expected this to be the roster. Obviously, I'm a big Mark Webb guy. Staley was just straight up about it. He's too injured. We can't keep him on the roster if he's going to constantly be out. He missed a lot of training camp, and he missed a lot of time last year. So that's the biggest surprise for me, really. But any surprises for you or any thoughts on this?
No surprises. I was in this portion of it, again, the 3 quarterbacks, the 4th running back, the whatever. I would have liked to have seen them keep Kemp or Davis. Hopefully both of those guys will clear because I think they offer a couple different things on the edge. But I do like that he pointed out the versatility of Morgan Fox because that's an addition that we haven't really talked a lot about, like on this show, maybe on other shows. I'm sure that they, love to get in there and talk about the metrics, but his versatility to be able to play all those different techniques inside and outside is fantastic. And the guy's just really strong and underrated as a football player. So that does give me a lot of hope. The one thing that he said, which was like I was like, really? They play that much? He said that edge rushers in a defense play 90% of the snaps. And I go, they play 90% of the snaps in a defense that's getting off the field on 3rd and short. They're not playing 90% of the snaps last year on a defense that is on the field as much as they were. Maybe you're talking about your 2020 Rams, but last year there's no way they could have played. It felt like every drive was getting extended and long. I felt like there was very little 3 and outs. Maybe if that's different this year, we are seeing them play closer to 85 to 90%, and there is a little bit more, less reliance on an edge rusher 3 and 4. But again, throughout the season, these are positions that can be added. These are places where you can, like Carlos Dunlap. I don't know specifically that he will be available, but somebody of his caliber will be a position that you can trade for a 5th or a 6th round if things are going great and you really need that extra edge rusher. But Alohi Gilman was the only player that I was like on the fence on whether or not he would be on this initial roster or not. I'm excited that he is. I think he's a good football player and smart and somehow makes plays. And that's all we can ask for.
I love Alohi also. He's not a top-notch tackler, but he's a solid tackler. And he's just a stopgap kind of player, where I don't think he has the potential to ever be even a starter in this league long term. But he's a guy where if you need him to fill a spot on a week where we need him, I feel pretty confident that he's going to be sufficient. And talking about the edge rushers, it's going to be fun to see these guys go at it. But, yeah, I'm keeping in mind that hopefully Brandon Staley is getting a rotation going with, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa and how much wear and tear might be on their tires already in their careers. And that's why I love the emergence of Chris Rumph, your guy from last year. I'm telling you, man, I was thinking about it earlier. It is like adding another player to the team. That's how much he's improved. He couldn't do anything last year. And now I feel confident in spots. If he has to come in on second down to give Bosa a breather, that we're not going to get toasted on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I didn't really notice how he played against the run in the preseason. I thought that his pass rush was great. It looked fantastic. That was another thing with Fehoko too, that he was not only good against the run, he was also flashing on passing downs where he was getting to the quarterback and getting pressures, which is another bonus. I think the depth on the defense, especially on the interior, is something I feel way better about last year. Like, I know the names might not be great, and we would all love to still have Kazir White here, but I just think Troy Reeder is a little bit better player than we've given him credit for. If Neiman can be healthy in that spot there too, and then you're adding Kyle Van Noy, where he can switch between those two sort of positions and float around. And just if we can keep the majority of the players healthy, the ability to move Derwin James all over the defense is what's really going to be the difference maker. Like, being able to say, okay, we have a 3rd and 7. We need you to lock up on Travis Kelce on this play, and we'll be able to send Rumph, Bosa, Mack, whoever, to go get the quarterback or whatever. Or, hey, you don't have anybody to cover on this. You're going to blitz on the opposite side. Like, he's going to be a pass rusher. He's going to be a coverage guy. He's going to do everything. He's going to play, traditional linebacker, come up and make the tackles at the line of scrimmage. So this is great. I think this roster is phenomenal. One of the best. I think I heard a lot of people saying the Bills have the best roster, and I am biased. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Bills have a major hole at cornerback with Tre'Davious White was put on the PUP. He's out for the first 4 games, and he's coming back. And I think that there's a little bit of an edge to the edge rushers on the Chargers. So again, I'm biased. Don't pay attention to all the Chargers stuff in here and the Chargers show I'm hosting. But I think this roster is better than the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's the most complete roster in the National Football League, in my opinion. And I'm just trying to imagine how in the hell is any team in this league, I don't care if it's New Orleans, Cleveland, Indianapolis, any team in this league, any offensive line in football, going to handle stunts where Derwin James, Joey Bosa, and Khalil Mack are pass rushing the passer at the same time on 3rd and 8. How are they going to handle that situation if we are fully healthy in this season? Week 1 against the Las Vegas Raiders, I say we debut that on the first drive and go ahead and show them what we have on this side of the ball now.
I plan on losing my voice on September 11th.
It's coming quick. It's coming quick.
So much fun in there. Yeah, and the thing that we're not really talking about, and like we didn't really address on this show, is Jerry Tillery. So many people are against this guy and just want him cut or traded or whatever. He's a bonus. Like, just imagine if he lives up to 1st round potential on this team. He's a huge bonus. The guy who does the Guilty as Charged podcast, they have a guy who comes on and does the compensatory picks. I'm blanking on what his name is right now. He is fantastic when he talks about that stuff. And if Jerry Tillery pops this year, he's that kind of player for us if he walks in free agency next year. Because who's really going to trade for him at this point? But if he can stick around on a loaded defense and put up some solid numbers, maybe he pays dividends down the road when he signs a contract with, the Detroit Lions next year. Or I give everybody the Lions. Whenever I say that, I'm like, they're going to sign with the Detroit Lions.
And that's how Tillery has to look at this situation. We've seen this kind of situation with players in the past going into contract years where we haven't extended them or we haven't done anything really in that realm to push them to being a long-term player on the squad. It's a win-win scenario for the Chargers and for Jerry Tillery if he has a good season. It's a win-win scenario. So Tillery is just as motivated as he ever could be, if not more, because next year you're not going to have guys that drafted you and have invested in you and their jobs are on the line because of you. Next year, you're going to have to convince a team to invest in you again, like he did when you were in college for the first time in his career. So you got to ball out this year. And the Chargers need depth on the D-line, and they have it. They have it. And it's going to be beautiful because I trust Morgan Fox to be a starter.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a depth guy across the whole D-line. Jerry Tillery's going to be a depth guy on the inside. I am very excited to see how this defense looks to open up the season.
One of the best depth D linemen out there. I mean, there's some really good guys on San Francisco and a couple other teams that have nice fronts. There's some really good depth on the Eagles defense too. But I just want to address this real quick. So Carlos Charger is pointing out the fact that you put Austin Jackson instead of Austin Johnson. I've seen a lot of people making this mistake. Peter King did this in a video and got roasted in the comments where like he called him. He's like, they added Sebastian Joseph Day and Austin Jackson and everybody's making fun of him because he made the slip up. I think because they added JC Jackson and J and Austin Johnson. I think a lot of people are making this mistake. I've heard this a lot where people go, we added Austin Jackson to the center and it's a common one. So I just want to address it. But
I had a response already ready. I saw this. We were working our way towards it. But Carlos, feel free to roast me in the comments as well, like everyone did for Peter King. But just keep in mind, when you roast me, put my percentage in there. 52 out of 53 names. Only one typo in a 53-name graphic. Keep that in mind. Think about it. How hard do you think that is to do in the middle of a day when you're doing a bunch of other stuff? So cut me some slack, roast me for the mistake, and then put my winning percentage in there with it. Appreciate you, Carlos.
Carlos expects perfection, and I like that he holds us to that standard.
I bet you if y'all rewind, I definitely probably misspelled a name somewhere. I copy and pasted Otito's name. I copy and pasted. I didn't even give it a shot.
You definitely made more mistakes than one, but I like that you take credit since nobody caught another one right there. But yes, DZ, I think this is the first time I've ever seen you in here. I appreciate how active you've been, and your icon is absolutely fire. That little F the Raiders with the middle finger emoji, hilarious. I love it.
There's a Theo had a question here before we sign off, asking about our 3-4 defense and what is Bosa listed and what is Mac listed as. They're both edge rushers, I believe.
I think they're listed as killers, goat hunters. That's what they are. That is it, Athir. Like, they don't even really – you don't need a position. The position is get the quarterback. And we're going like third and long, obviously. But these guys are both so smart and complete football players, it won't even matter. They're going to control the edge or get the quarterback.
You know what they are, Tony? They're car compactors. Boom! Boom! Cars in the middle of them things. Bam! Ow, that hurt.
Athir, you have 1 minute to get that bold prediction in the chat because Mike has stuff to do and I have kids to put to bed.
Yeah, we will see you guys next time. We will probably be live again Friday night before the game?
We'll be back then.
We will be posting content, reels, videos, whatever we come up with from now till then. So make sure your eyes are on the channel, notifications are turned on. But we will be live again Friday night. I believe it's September 9th, I want to say, at 5 or 5:30 p.m. Keep an eye on the page. Keep an eye on the Instagram, which is just Nuts and Bolts. And we will see you guys there in a couple weeks. This is a very, very hot take. Get out of here, Athir. We don't want none of that. We don't want none of that. Subscribe right now. Ciao. Cool, DZ. Cool. I appreciate that.
Athir, that is a hot take, brother.
Joe Lombardi's out. He's getting to be the new coach of the Carolina Panthers, and in comes Kellen Moore of all offensive coordinators that we could have grabbed. I don't know about that one. We'll see you guys then in 2 weeks. Be here or be square. Bolt up. It's almost time.